questions were all practical only, and hardly few questions came from theory. And most of the time, what CP students will do is they'll neglect practicals, only study theory. This is a paper where the institute got them. You should not be prepared like that. You have to be thorough with everything. So this is the triple column cash book. Prepare the format, start doing the problem. Manoj, you are able to follow? Students who are appearing or who are attending class for the first time, you should practice every day whatever is being discussed in the classroom. One time will not be sufficient. Write down. You have left one place for writing the question note. There you start writing. These were the transactions of a trader. These were the transactions of a trader for the month of. These were the transactions of a trader for the month of August 2014. August 2014. Record them in the triple column cash book. Record them in the triple column cash book. Write down transaction number 1. Transaction number 1. Transaction number 1. Opening balance of cash. Opening balance of cash. Opening balance of cash. 10 lakh rupees. Favorable bank balance. Favorable bank balance. Favorable bank balance. 8 lakh rupees. So please tell me, where are you going to record this? 1st August 2014. You will write to balance brought down. How much is the cash balance? 10 lakh. And bank balance, what do we have? Favorable or overdraft? Favorable means deposits were more than the withdrawals in the month of July. Hence, there is some deposit in the bank. So on the deposit side, you write how much? 8 lakhs. This is the amount still there in the bank which we can withdraw whenever we want. Okay. Next transaction. Suppose the problem says overdraft bank balance, then what will you do? Then you write by balance brought down in the bank column you will write. Okay. Next transaction. Goods sold for cash. Goods sold for cash, 2 lakhs rupees. What is the entry you pass? Cash account to sales. No need to even think about an entry. You have to just classify the cash transaction into a receipt or a payment. What is this? Receipt or payment? Receipt. What kind of a receipt? Is it a receipt in the bank or receipt of cash? It's a receipt of cash. How much? 2 lakhs. From where did you get the money? Sales. Next, goods purchased for cash. Goods purchased for cash. Goods purchased for cash. 5 lakh rupees. What is entry you pass? Purchases account data to cash account. In cash account we should write by purchases, but no need of thinking about the entry. Classify it into a receipt or a payment. What is it? Payment. So you have to record it on the payment side. What payment? Cash payment or bank payment? Cash payment. How much?
5 lakh.
So right here by purchases. Next, goods sold to customers. Goods sold to customers. Credit card, debit card transactions. Credit card, debit card transactions. 1 lakh rupees. What is this transaction? Few customers came to your shop, they have purchased the goods from you, you have sold the goods to them. Instead of paying money, they give their debit card or they give their credit card details to us. We swipe it on the swiping machine, we enter the amount and then we send the information to our bank. What happens? Immediately money will get transferred from the bank account of the customer into the bank account of the business. So now we are receiving money, but not in the form of cash. The money is getting deposited in our bank account. Yes, the money is getting deposited in our bank account. You have to just classify the transaction into this is a bank transaction. Money will flow from the bank account of the customer to the bank account of the business. You have to just classify it into a deposit or a withdrawal. What is it? Deposit. So you have to record it on the deposit side. Where was the money deposited? Bank. How much amount? 1 lakh. To sales. Everyone please write down. Next transaction. Check. Check issued for purchases. 3 lakhs rupees. We are purchasing goods now and we are issuing a check to the supplier 3 lakh rupees. What is the entry you write? Purchases account data to bank account is the entry. If you want to give posting, bank account will write by purchases. Actually, but here we are not going to use any journal entry. Subsidiary book, no. It's a bank transaction. You are issuing a check. When you issue a check, actually you are sending an instruction to the bank. You are telling your bank, boss, please pay money to the person who is going to show the check to you. So when we issue a check, the supplier will take the check, he'll go to our bank and our bank is going to pay money to him. Yes? So now bank is paying money. That means money is getting withdrawn from the bank. We are not withdrawing, our supplier is withdrawing money from our bank account. So money is going out of the bank account, it is not getting deposited. It's a withdrawal from the bank. So which side will you record? Withdrawal side. From where is the money getting withdrawn? Bank. How much? 3 lakhs. For what purpose have we issued the check?
Purchases.
Next transaction. Goods sold on credit to Mr. A. Goods sold on credit to Mr. A. 50,000 rupees. Where will we record this transaction? It has to be recorded in the sales book. We have to write the name of the customer who is purchasing the goods from us. We'll write Mr. A in the sales book, and then we'll immediately open Mr. A's account and we'll write 2 sales. But this transaction is not going to involve the bank account of the business or the cash account of the business. Hence, it is not going to be recorded in the triple column cash book. Okay. Next. Cash received from Mr. A. Cash received from Mr. A. $45,000 in full settlement. Cash received from Mr. A, 45,000 in full settlement. How do you deal with this transaction? What is the entry you record for this transaction? Cash account debtor 45,000. Discount allowed account debtor 5,000. To Mr. A account 50,000. It's a receipt of cash. You are receiving cash. So cash column will write 45,000. We are also suffering a loss of how much? 5,000. Who is giving this cash and loss to us? To Mr. A. Next. Goods purchased on credit from Mr. C. Goods purchased on credit from Mr. C. 70,000 rupees. Goods purchased on credit from Mr. C. 70,000 rupees. How do you record an entry for this? Purchase account debtor to Mr. C account. We don't record it in the triple column cash book. We record it in the purchases book. Next transaction. Check issued to Mr. C. $69,300 in full settlement. Actually, how much you have to pay to Mr. C? 70,000. But we are issuing a check only for 69,300 in full settlement. Maybe we have been given 3 months time to make. C has given us actually 3 months time to make the payment. But maybe we are making the payment early. So Mr. C is saying, don't pay me the entire amount, you can take 1% discount. So he is allowing us some discount. That is why we are paying only 69,300 in the form of a check. So how are you going to record an entry for this transaction? Mr. C account debtor 70,000. Bank account credit 69,300. To discount receipt account credit 700. Yes, this is the entry we record. But now we are not going to write any entries now. So it's a payment. Payment through check. Check means money is going to be withdrawn from the bank account. So we record on the withdrawal side. From the bank, how much money is flowing out? 69,300. We also received a discount of 700. We'll write here by Mr. C account. Write down. Check received from Mr. Ram. Check received from Mr. Ram, an old customer. Check received from Mr. Ram, an old customer towards his dues. Towards his dues. In the past, Mr. Ram has purchased goods on credit from us. Ram has to pay money to us. So So what is Ram doing? He is sending us a check. Amount 30,000 rupees on 12th August 2014. Now listen to me very carefully. Mr. Ram came to the office. He is a debtor to the business. So he is writing a check and is giving the check to the accountant. What is the value of the check? 30,000 rupees. Now after this, what the accountant should do? As soon as he receives the check, accountant should deposit the check immediately in the bank. What will our bank do then? Bank will send the check again to Ram's bank account, and then money will get transferred to the business bank account. Yes, that is what is going to happen. Now, for the money to come into our bank account, there can be a delay of 3 to 4 days. Suppose you are depositing the check today, 12th, maybe on 15th or 16th, money will come into our bank account. Because our bank has to again send the information to Ram's bank, money has to come from Ram's bank into our bank account, no. So for that is called as the clearing process. In the clearing process, some time will be spent. So maybe on 15th or 16th money will come. So now the question arises, when should the accountant record the receipt of money from Mr. Ram? Is it on the date of receiving the check, that is 12th August, or is it on the day money gets actually deposited in our bank account? Should the accountant, listen to me, should the accountant wait till 16th? Should he wait till the time money comes into the bank account to write an entry in his books of accounts? No. Let us suppose the accountant has gone to the bank, has deposited check, but he does not record an entry. He says, only on the day when the money appears in my bank account, that day I record an entry. That is what the accountant says. So he doesn't record. What happens is, on 13th August, one of the executives of our collection department, they make a phone call to Mr. Ram. Mr. Ram, you have to pay us money. It's long due. You have not issued a check till now. Why are you not paying money? And they speak badly with him. What will happen? Ram will say, boss, I have given the check yesterday itself. Why are you again calling me and disturbing me? And this is not the way to behave. Because if he has already issued a check, according to Mr. Ram, he has made a payment. But because accountant is waiting for the money to come into the bank account and then he is going to write an entry in our books of accounts on 13th August, because there is no receipt entry, Ram is still appearing as a debtor and our collection team will keep pursuing him for the purpose of collection of the money. He will feel bad about it. So, according to Ram, he has made payment on 12th. So, according to the business also, we should record as if money has come on 12th itself. But on 16th, if you find that money has not come from Ram's bank account, the check has been dishonored, then we should reverse the entry and cancel it. Is it clear? That is the process we have to follow. So in this transaction, only the date of receiving the check is given, the date of depositing the check, the date on which money has come into the bank account of the business, all that detailed information is not given. So here we have to make an assumption. We have to make an assumption that on 12th August itself, the accountant received the check, he deposited the check in the bank, and money also was received on the same day in the bank account. You have to assume that and you have to pass an entry. So what is the entry you pass? Bank account data to Mr. Ram account. On 12th August itself we have to write an entry. Is it clear? How much amount? Now suppose after 3-4 days, suppose we have deposited the check, after 4-5 days we come to know that the check was dishonored. Ram doesn't have bank balance, but he has issued a check. When the check was sent by our bank to Ram's bank account, the check comes back, it bounces. Money doesn't get transferred from Ram's bank account to the business bank account. On that date, what you can do is you can reverse the entry and cancel it. Okay, right on, next transaction. So on 12th August, what are we assuming? We are assuming check is received, it is deposited in the bank, and on the same day money was also collected in the bank. That is what we assume. Okay, next. On 17th August, Mr. Ram's check was returned dishonored by the bank. On 17th August, Mr. Ram's check was returned dishonored by the bank. So what happened? On 17th August, the check has not been honored. On 17th August, we come to know that when Ram's check was sent to the bank, money did not come, the check has come back to our bank account. So it's a dishonor of check. So now how do you record an entry for that? So when we received the check, we passed an entry, bank account returned to Ram. Now check is dishonored, so you have to reverse the entry and cancel it. By Mr. Ram, in the bank column you write 30,000. If suppose on the date of receiving the check you had allowed any discount, that also needs to be reversed in that case. Okay. Next transaction. Next transaction. Machinery purchased by issuing a check 10 lakh rupees. Machinery purchased by issuing a check 10 lakh rupees. What is the entry you record when you purchase machinery and issue a check? Machinery account returned to bank account. Now we are not going to pass any entry. You have to just classify it into a deposit into the bank or withdrawal from the bank. Classify this transaction. It's a withdrawal. So you have to record it on the withdrawal side. Which column will you record? Bank column. How much amount? 10 lakhs. By machinery account. Look at the board, everyone. First of all, tell me on this day, do we have sufficient bank balance? 8 lakh plus 1 lakh, 9 lakh plus 30,000, 9 lakh, 30,000 minus 30,000, 9 lakh, and subtract these two items. The available bank balance on the date of issue of check for machinery is not equal to 10 lakh. The money is not available. But still you have issued a check. We are assuming that the bank has given us overdraft facility. What facility? Overdraft. That means you can overdraw. You can draw more than what you have deposited. We assume that the bank has given an overdraft facility. We have given the bank our land document, our building documents. We have given them security on our assets. So the bank is allowing us overdrawing facility. That means you can withdraw more than what you have deposited up to a certain limit. It will not be unlimited. Okay. And on that drawing amount, whenever you draw more than what you have deposited, bank will charge interest also on that amount. Okay. So we have assumed that there is overdraft facility. That is why we are able to purchase machinery and we have issued a check and bank has made the payment. Okay. Next transaction. Bank charges charged 250 rupees. Sometimes when you request for checkbooks, when you request for statements, and when checks deposited get dishonored, banks are going to make some charges. And when you have some overdraft also, bank can charge some charges. That is called as bank charges. What is it? Bank charges charged 250 rupees. Now, will the bank ask you to come and pay 250 rupees to them?
No, they will deduct from our account.
The bank is not going to make a phone call to you, ask you to come and pay 250 rupees. Bank is not going to do that. Bank already has your bank balance, no. From that they are going to deduct 250 rupees. Bank charges is our expense. It's an expense for the business. Bank charges account debtor, nominal account expense loss debit. Money will be withdrawn from our bank account. So what is the entry will pass? Bank charges account debtor to bank account. Bank charges account debtor to bank account. So So it's a withdrawal from my bank account. So you should record it on the withdrawal side, bank column 250 by bank charges.
Sir, but we already have an overdraft now, sir.
So the overdraft will increase. Sir, when will the company pay the money? Suppose tomorrow suddenly 5 lakh rupees of sales comes, you will deposit in the bank. Bank will adjust whatever it is due to them. Right now the bank may be in overdraft, but tomorrow when you make sales, cash comes or you make some check sales, money will be deposited into the bank account. So whatever they have allowed you to overdraw, they will adjust. They will take away whatever is due to them. Okay. Next transaction. Next transaction. Goods sold on credit to Mr. Karan. Goods sold on credit to Mr. Karan. 30,000 rupees. Goods sold on credit to Mr. Karan. 30,000 rupees. Where will you record it? Sales book. Not here. Next transaction. Check received from Mr. Karan. Check received from Mr. Karan. 30,000 rupees. Check received from Mr. Karan. 30,000 rupees on 16th August 2014. On 16th August 2014, but deposited only on 20th August 2014. But deposited only on 20th August 2014. How are you going to deal with this transaction now? Check is received on 16th. We should actually immediately deposit it. But we have not deposited immediately. We have waited for 4 days. On 20th August, we have deposited the check in the bank account. Please tell me, when will the money come into the bank account? On 16th itself or after 20th?
After.
Without depositing the check, bank cannot collect money from Mr. Karan on your behalf. See, actually when Karan gives a check to you, you should go to Karan's bank and take money. But because we don't have time, what we do? When we receive a check from Karan, instead of going to Karan's bank and withdrawing money from there, we say, banker, to our banker, you please take the check and get the money collected. So we give the check to the bank. Now our bank will approach Karan's bank to get the money. But when did we receive the check? 16th. When did we deposit the check in our bank account? 20th. So when will money appear in our bank account? Only after 20th, not before 20th. Okay. So now how will you deal with this transaction? Check is received on 16th. That means according to Karan, payment is done on 16th. But according to us, when did the money come into the bank account? After 20th. So how do you deal with this kind of a transaction? So now, this kind of a transaction has to be dealt in a specific manner. On 16th August, we should assume we have received cash from Karan. Assume. We have to assume that we have received cash from Karan. And on 20th, we have to assume we have deposited cash into the bank account. You have to break one transaction into two transactions and record them. On 16th, we have to record as if we have received cash from Karan. If you record cash received from Karan, that means Karan's debtor balance will automatically reduce. But bank balance will not increase because the money is not deposited in the bank. But on 20th, when the check is deposited, automatically cash balance will reduce and bank balance will increase. Yes or no?
Yes.
So on 16th, what are we going to do? We are going to assume we have received cash from Karan, not check. We have received cash from Karan. So when you receive cash from Karan, it should be recorded on the receipt side. Cash column, how much?
30,000.
How much was the amount?
30,000.
To Karan, 30,000 rupees. to current 30,000 rupees. First part of the transaction is over. What is the second part? On 20th August, we have to assume what have we deposited?
The cash.
In the bank. Now tell me, how do you record cash deposited into bank? Cash deposited into bank. Cash is going out of the business. It has treated as a cash payment. So come to the payment side of the cash book. You will write cash payment 30,000.
By bank.
Where is the money going? To the bank.
Bank.
So you write by bank. On which date? 20th August. Cash has gone out. We have recorded as a cash payment. But where did the money actually go? To the bank. So in the bank column, deposit side you will write 30,000. To Mr.
Cash.
You write to cash. 20th August 2014. You will write to cash. Look at the board. Ultimately, cash receipt, cash payment gets cancelled. You only have a deposit in the bank column. Normally, when we receive a check from current, what should the entry pass? Bank account or to current. Bank account should be debited. That is what we should do. That means only bank account should have a debit. But what we did, we have said we have initially received cash and then we have deposited cash. That means cash was taken as a receipt. Cash was taken out as a payment. So cash gets cancelled. Ultimately, there is balance only in the bank column. Is it clear? Are you able to understand? Please mark it with star. Very important transaction. Okay. Next transaction. Cash withdrawn from bank for office use 10,000. Cash withdrawn from bank for office use 10,000. So now the accountant goes to the bank. He draws 10,000 rupees here because he has to make small payments in cash. So cash is brought into the business. It's a cash receipt, withdrawal from the bank. So how do you record it? It's a cash receipt. We are receiving cash into the business. So cash should be debited. How much? 10,000. From where did the money come? Bank. Now it has to be recorded even as a withdrawal from the bank column. By cash, you will put a symbol C, contra. What does this contra mean? If you want to see the opposite posting, you need not go to some other ledger account. Just see the opposite side. You can see the opposite posting. Is it clear, everyone? Now let us learn how to balance the accounts. Let us learn how to balance the columns now. You will always start with discount first. Totally discount allowed column, how much is it? 5,000. Write it in the next period. You will write 1st September 14 brought down. To balance brought down 5,000. To balance brought down 5,000. Next, to go to the deposit side of the cash book. 10 plus 2, 12, 1245, 1275, 1285. 12,85,000 is the total of the receipt side. $12,85,000 on the payment side. Subtract these two items and tell me how much is the balance left. 7,55,000. What will write here? By balance carried down. Now this should be brought to the higher side. 7,55,000. Now come to the bank column. Total the bank column deposit side, how much is it? 8 plus 1, 9. 960. 9,60,000 is the total of the deposit side. Wait, you have to be careful. 960 is the total of the deposit side, but the withdrawal side is more. What is the total of the withdrawal side?
14 lakh 9,550.
14 lakh?
9,550.
Everyone use your calculators. Total. Three lakh, 69,300, 99,300, 13,99,300, 13,99,550, 14 lakh, 9,550. Total of the payment side is 14 lakh, 9,550. Withdrawal side. Write the same total on the receipt side also. 14 lakh, 9,550. Now out of 14 lakh 9,550, subtract the items on the deposit side and tell me how much balance is left. 4 lakh 4,49,550 is the balance left. To balance carried down. 4,49,550. Bring it to the higher side. By balance brought down. Bank column 449,550. You bring the difference to the higher side. Discount received column. Total it, how much is it? 700. Add in the next column. Add in the next row. 700 rupees. Bring it down. 700 rupees. This is how we prepare the triple column cash book. I hope all the transactions are clear for you. Okay. So we'll take up the next topic, petty cash book. Write down. So if you practice all the subsidiary books today, tomorrow's class I'll do a comprehensive problem on subsidiary books where we'll use all subsidiary books. Purchase book, sales book, purchase returns book, sales returns book, cash book, bank book, journal proper, and learn then how to prepare ledger accounts. Okay? Write down. Heading, petty cash book. Now what is petty cash book? We'll learn through an example. Write down. You are the You are a clerk working in. You are a clerk working in ABC Limited. ABC Limited. You have been given the responsibility to maintain petty cash. You have been given the responsibility to maintain petty cash. At the beginning of every month, the cashier will give you cash within brackets impressed amount. Every month the cashier will give you cash within brackets impressed amount, close the bracket, impressed amount, IMPREST, impressed amount, close the bracket, out of which you are going to reimburse, certain types of petty expenses, incurred by the employees or at office. So what is your job? The cashier will give you some cash. You are a clerk working in the company and you have a lot of free time. So you are not, we can say, fully busy with your work throughout the day. You always have some free time. So what the main cashier is done is, he will give you some cash every month. And if employees are incurring some small expense out of their pocket, they will come to you, you have to give them the money. And if some tea, snacks, some small expense have to be incurred in the office, for that you are the clerk who is responsible to keep making the payments. And you are expected to maintain a record of your transactions. Whatever receipts you have received and whatever payments you are making, you have to keep a record by maintaining something called as the petty cash book. Okay. Let us first of all write down the types of expenses you are going to reimburse. Write down types of expenses which you will reimburse. And normally there will be a limit given. That means the petty cashier can make payments up to 500 rupees, not more than 500 rupees. A limit will be given. If you want to cross that limit, then the payment has to go to the main cashier. The main cashier will make such payments. Only small payments within a limit will be done by the petty cashier. Petty cashier, the clerk who is maintaining petty cash. Write down. Certain types of expenses which they are going to reimburse. 1. Right. Traveling and conveyance. What is this? Sometimes during office hours, an employee is required to go out of the office, meet some client, meet a customer, meet a lawyer, go to bank, do some work for the company. During office hours, he is required to go out of the office and do some work and come back. So he would be using his vehicle, or he may use an auto rickshaw, or he may go using a bus or a MMTS or a train. So whatever expenditure is incurred, it is office expenditure, because it is not going on his personal work, it is on the office work. So when he comes back, he can produce bus tickets, or he can write a small slip for auto rickshaw charges, and then the petty cashier will give him the money. Suppose he has used 50 rupees for petrol, he can say, sir, I have consumed 50 rupees for petrol, so please release me. Petty cashier has to pay him. Okay? Right now, example, right, traveling and conveyance, example, petrol, bus tickets, taxi, etc. Okay. Second type of transaction which is going to reimburse. Stationery, postage and stationery, you can write. Postage and stationery. Right there. Pens, pencils, notebooks, rubber bands, envelopes, stamps, etc. Third type of transactions. Refreshment. Right. Tea, coffee, snacks, etc. So if you have gone out on office work, you have a tea, you are entitled to take a reimbursement for that. Okay? You have gone out during lunchtime, you have gone out for some work, not your personal work, office work, and because of it you are not able to have your lunch box. You have to have lunch in a hotel. In that case, you can bring the hotel bill, the petty cashier will reimburse. Okay? Right now. Next. Miscellaneous expenses. There can be many more items like that, but we'll limit our discussion. Miscellaneous expenses. Other expenses we can say. MISC, you write miscellaneous expenses. Like matchbox. Not for lighting cigarettes. Matchbox. Agarbattis. Incense sticks. Agarbattis. Broomsticks to clean the office, broomstick, room fresheners, etc. So for these type of expenses, no, you should not go to the main cashier and disturb him. You should go to the petty cashier and ask money from him. If employees incur any expenditure for these things for office purpose, they can go to the petty cashier and ask money. The petty cashier will pay. But you should not go and disturb the main cashier because he is busy with this important work. Okay? Right on. These were the transactions. For the month of September 2014. Record them. In petty cash book. Right off. First transaction. Impressed cash handed over by the cashier 10,000. Impressed cash handed over by the cashier 10,000 rupees. You can sit there. 10,000 rupees. What is happening now? The main cashier is sending cash to the petty cashier. How much is sending?
10,000.
10,000 rupees. Okay. Next transaction. Petrol expenses paid. Petrol expenses paid. 300 rupees. Next. Bus tickets reimbursed. Bus tickets reimbursed. 500 rupees. Taxi expenses 800 rupees. Next. Next. Envelopes purchased 100 rupees. Envelopes purchased 100 rupees. Stamps purchased. Stamps purchased 50 rupees. Postal charges paid 300 rupees. Postal charges paid 300 rupees. Next. Expenses for tea. Expenses for tea. TEA, tea. 800 rupees. Not for one day, for many days in a month. 800 rupees. Next. Pizzas. Pizzas. Write down. Amount 400 rupees. One particular day, the workers, the employees were working overtime. They felt hungry. They ordered a pizza, and next day morning they are given the bill to the petty cashier. He has to pay. Okay, 400 rupees. Next. Next. Cool drinks. Cool drinks. 200 rupees. Okay. Next transaction. Broomsticks for office. Broomsticks for office. Not to beat others, for cleaning. Broomsticks for office. 200 rupees. Matchbox. 10 rupees. Matchbox 10 rupees. Agarbattis 30 rupees. Agarbattis have become very costly. Don't laugh like that. Agarbattis 30 rupees. Okay, that's it. So let us suppose these were the transactions in a month. Now you have to record them in the petty cash book. Okay, how you will record it? Just give me a notebook. If this is your notebook, use it in horizontal form. Okay. 1/3 of the page, you will prepare the table which I prepare now. Leave 2/3 of the page empty. I'll tell you when to use. Okay. Let's start. debit amount rupees date particulars. Stop talking. Credit amount in rupees. I've kept this space empty. I'll use it when the time comes. How will you maintain the petty cash book? Left side is receipt side, right side is payment side. Receipt column, payment column. Particulars is common for both of them. Whether you receive or pay, you have to write the particulars here. But if it is a receipt, amount will be recorded here. If it's a payment, particulars will be written here, but amount will be written here. Let us start. What is the first transaction? Impressed cash handed over by the cashier. 10,000 rupees. So we'll assume first, what is the month? September, no? 1st September 14. The petty cashier is receiving cash from the main cashier. What is the entry you pass? You pass an entry, petty cash account debtor to cash account, or petty cash account debtor to cash account. In the main cash book, you have to record it on the payment side. In the petty cash book, you have to record it on the receipt side. Okay. So what is the entry? Petty cash account debtor to cash. So right here, to cash. But amount should be written on the debit side, because petty cash account should be debited. That is why you should debit the account. How much? 10,000. Particulars column is common for both debit and credit. You will write to cash, but write the amount on the debit side. Okay. Now out of this, the petty cashier has started making the payments. Yes. What are the payments he is making now in the transaction?
Petrol expenses paid.
Petrol expenses paid. How much? 300. So what is the entry you pass? Petrol expenses account debtor to petty cash. Petrol expense account debtor to petty cash. Don't call it as normal cash now. We'll write the entry. Petrol expense account debtor to petty cash. Now we are in which account? Petty cash book, petty cash account. So in petty cash account we should write by petrol expenses. By petrol expenses. How much amount? 300. What is the entry, right? Petrol expenses account debtor to petty cash. So in petty cash account I am writing by petrol expenses. Now I should do one more posting now. For every journal there are two postings. Petrol expenses to petty cash. Petty cash account I am writing by petrol expenses. Petrol expense account I should write to petty cash. Now I should actually open a petrol expenses account and there I should write to cash. But I should not waste lot of time for doing that. What I'll do is I'll simply add a column here. Conveyances and traveling. And write 300 rupees here. That's it. When I write 300 rupees in the conveyances column, it is equal to giving posting in the petrol expense account. So I have completed the posting in petrol expense account by opening a new column, conveyances and traveling, and here I am writing 300 rupees. Okay. So both debit posting and credit posting were counted here itself. Next transaction. Bus tickets reimbursed. How much? 500 rupees. What is the entry should pass? Bus tickets account data to petty cash. In petty cash account I should write buy bus tickets. So write here buy bus tickets. How much? Now actually I should open bus tickets account and write two petty cash there. But it is a waste of time, waste of space. For by opening a new account, you are going to waste time. So instead of wasting time, what we do is we just post this in this column. This column is going to do the work of all those accounts: petrol expenses, bus tickets, taxi expenses. All of those expenses are going to be collected in this column. Okay. Recording and classification both are happening in the same book. That is why this book is called as the analytical petty cash book. Transactions are even analyzed, classified, segregated together. Next transaction. Buy taxi expenses. How much? This also comes under conveyance and traveling, no? So write here 800. Next transaction. Next. Envelopes purchased. How much? Envelopes purchased 100 rupees. What is the entry I should pass? Envelopes account data to petty cash. In petty cash book I should write buy envelopes. How much? 100 rupees. Now should I write it in conveyance and traveling column? I should actually open an envelope account and write two petty cash there. Normally we don't open an account for envelope. Envelopes, books, pens, we all call them as stationery. Okay, so we should actually open stationery account and give a debit there. But we are not going to do that even. We are going to add a column here. Postage and stationery. Over everyone. Next transaction. Stamps purchased. Rupees how much? 50 rupees. Right here buy stamps. How much? 50 rupees. Next, after stamps, postal charges paid by postage or postal charges. How much?
300.
Next, after that, expenses for tea. So right here by tea expenses. How much? Can we write it under conveyance and traveling? Is it stationery? Add one more column now. Now what is the purpose of maintaining this column? There is one more purpose. At the end of the month, the manager or the supervisor or the assistant manager, they will take this petty cash book and they will see refreshment, 5,000 rupees. They will ask, why have you spent so much money on refreshment? They put a control also. Somebody will review the petty cash book, they will analyze 5,000 rupees for refreshment, and they say pizzas, burgers, cold drinks, tea, snack. They will say, boss, next time onwards, all this will not happen. For that purpose, we are segregating the expenditure also. Okay, so that somebody will review it and understand where the money is being spent. Next, after that, pizza. Oh. How much? I think instead of a pizza, a dosa is better. 100 times better, I feel. Pizzas don't give any energy at all. At least dosa and energy have some calorie value. pains you also. Mental or pocket satisfactions. You have spent money. Next transaction. Cool drinks. How much? Next, broomsticks. How much amount? 200 rupees. Open one more column now. Miscellaneous. After broomsticks, what do we have? Buy matchbox, how much? 10 rupees. Next. Agarbattis. How much amount? Over. Now, how do you balance? How do you balance? Look at the board, everyone. You leave one line space here. Draw a box like this. Total all the columns. $1,600, 450, 1,400, and 240. Now, how will you balance? Totally debit side, it is 10,000. Write the same total on the credit side also. Out of this 10,000, subtract these items. How much? 6,310 rupees. By balance carried down. The debit side was more than the credit side. So the difference is temporarily written on the credit side. That is why we use the word by balance brought down. Now bring it to the higher side. To balance brought down. 6,310 rupees. To balance brought down 6,310 rupees. Okay. Now, suppose the impressed balance is 10,000. What do you mean impressed balance? We have fixed the impressed balance as 10,000. That means at the beginning of every month, the petty cashier has to compare the available balance with the impressed balance. Impressed balance is 10,000. but the available balance is only 6,310. He can ask the main cashier to reimburse the impressed amount. What do you mean by reimburse the impressed amount? Out of 10,000, whatever the petty cashier has spent during the month, the same amount has to be reimbursed by the main cashier. So at the beginning of the month he was given 10,000. During the month he has spent some amount. So whatever he has spent during the month, the main cashier has to hand it over again to the petty cashier. So how much he has to hand over? 10,000 minus 6,310? 3,690 was the amount spent by the petty cashier during the year, during the month, out of the impressed amount. So the same amount has to be now reimbursed by the main cashier to the petty cashier, so that the balance in the hand of the petty cashier will increase to the impressed amount of 10,000. So out of 10,000, whatever I have spent, main cashier will give me back in the next month. Okay. So let us assume we are getting how much? 3,690 from the main cashier. What is entry you pass? Petty cash account debtor to cash account. So right here to cash 3,690. With this, the balance in petty cash will increase to the impressed amount. Because I'll come back in 2 minutes.